Marvel, we've come a long way since the beginning to the sludge that is Phase 4. Now, it's time to check out the latest addition to the pile, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. A show already suffering from review bombing. Don't know why it was specifically pointed out that it's men in their 30s doing it, but let's move on. Its executive producer and director Kat Coiro defending PS3 level CGI by labeling those criticizing it as anti-feminist who just want to tear down women's bodies cause of a culture that believes they can. And writers who say they couldn't write rousing trial scenes for a show called Attorney at Law? I didn't have high expectations, nonetheless I wasn't expecting it to be complete shit either. I'll judge it on its own merit as always. Let's see how the first episode went. Oh, and spoilers for the whole episode. We start off with Jennifer Walters practicing closing arguments with her colleagues, then breaks the fourth wall to lead us into our episode. It's basically a flashback episode. Cut to her and Bruce driving when a Sicarian spaceship causes them to crash. She pulls him out of the wreck, but by doing so gets his blood in one of her wounds, transforming her into She-Hulk. Bruce scoops her up, bringing her to his lab in Mexico, built by Tony Stark, where he decides to mentor her. I'll start with the plot. First episode pretty much covers how she became She-Hulk, from gaining her abilities to fully knowing how to control them. The speech at the beginning about power is a nice example of setup and payoff, echoing the final moments of the episode. The journey of getting there though was lazily crammed and moved way too fast, as we'll see. I do feel like how she becomes She-Hulk is a missed opportunity to create real drama. I've heard that in the comics Bruce needs to perform a blood transfusion to save her life, resulting in She-Hulk's creation. Now, you don't have to copy-paste the comic formula, but imagine the powerful moments we could have had on the one hand of Bruce having to cope with the fact that he has to save a life by giving her a curse, and Jennifer on the other struggling to come to terms if she really prefers being alive and damned or dead. A source of tension constantly brewing during their training. Oh well, too late now. This isn't to say she doesn't struggle with becoming a Hulk. She does. For about 5 minutes of screen time. So, after Bruce takes her in, he discovers her blood can synthesize gamma radiation better than his and uses it to heal his arm, and I'm speculating here, probably also serves as an explanation to why she can control herself in Hulk form. I said before that she struggles with the fact that she can't or even shouldn't return to normal life because of the threat she poses. But the writers pretty much said fuck that, cause in the next scene we find out that she can control herself as She-Hulk and isn't a rabid monster like Bruce when he first got his abilities. And at this point the memes just write themselves.
Well, I guess we can just skip all that then.
Once she realizes that she can control herself, her "I'm better than everyone" personality kicks into overdrive. Now, I know people will be quick to say Tony Stark was also arrogant, I'd give her a chance because she can humble herself. Yeah, but Tony Stark was indeed better than everyone else. He could back up his arrogance with facts. Here, it really just comes off as a brat with too much power, which I think is what they were going for, cause after this there isn't the struggle of being She-Hulk, it's more of what should you do with these powers. Cause one Team America type montage we see in the trailer later, she can fully control her ability, and decides to leave. Now, during the training, she does everything in a playful manner, angering Bruce who's gone full mentor mode, constantly trying to show her that
with great power comes great responsibility.
To someone who doesn't feel the need to be a superhero despite the abilities gotten by chance, she just wants to live her normal life. She then says that angered me and prompted a beatdown from Bruce.
Oh, so you didn't wind up alone? Hiding away on some remote beach with no friends, no relationships, never seeing your family, and definitely not dealing with a decade's worth of trauma?
I won't lie, seeing Hulk finally lash out, even if he was supposedly holding back, was a treat. Very annoying that she was on par with him though. They end up destroying the bar that Tony and Bruce had built together, a fond memory, which makes him give up out of pure despair at that point. They make up by rebuilding it and she leaves, just like that. I do hope that with great power comes great responsibility side is shown in the coming episodes, getting her humbled and having to go through a hero's journey. I doubt that's what will happen, and we all know it probably won't. On the visual style and cinematography, it feels more like a sitcom, kind of like a Sex and the City vibe. It's trying to be its own thing and I appreciate it, having some comic book-esque comedy like the bathroom scene at the beginning and the fourth wall breaking on 2 occasions. The lighter comedic side, for now at least, doesn't taint the story like in Love and Thunder, but it's only the first episode. The score wasn't anything exceptional, although like most films or shows nowadays, it feels like a safety net to manipulate the audiences into feeling something, rather than let the writing and acting speak for itself. On the character side, we only have Bruce and Jennifer, and I have to give props to Tatiana Maslany. She's pretty good in the role, but thought she was better when playing Jennifer rather than She-Hulk, mostly due to the CGI not being very expressive compared to Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Explainable by the fact that they probably already have a CGI Ruffalo Hulk model while having to create one on a shoestring budget and limited time for She-Hulk. I'd love to see more courtroom scenes with Maslany because it seemed that in those she wasn't very sure of herself, which is more likable than the I'm the best persona we see in most of the episode. Mark Ruffalo's Hulk was bearable to watch when he wasn't being nerfed, of course, because we got more insight on the trauma he'd been through, his relationship with Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, how he took the Hulk aspect of his life very seriously.
And I'm telling you, when people start seeing you as a monster that never goes away.
Now, these are in no way big moments, but the small amounts we get on them trying to flesh out his story were welcomed. Scenes like that reminded me of the 2012 Bruce Banner. Nonetheless, they were still buried under a pile of scenes with our post-Infinity War man-child Hulk. On a side note, the one way it did expand the MCU lore was telling us Steve Rogers did show some of those girls what the super soldier serum was capable of. Did I personally enjoy the first episode? It was fine, didn't reel me in, but I'll probably go watch it to see what they do with Daredevil. You're not really missing out on anything, but you're not really gaining something either if you watch it. And the episodes are only going to be 30 minutes long, so that's a plus. It's mostly aimed towards a female audience, late teens to moms, the Sex and the City crowd to be honest with you. In the end, She-Hulk episode 1 was eventful to say the least. I probably won't cover every episode except if something major happens, but Daredevil fans, I'm praying for you all. Thanks for watching and thanks again for sticking around this long. We've officially hit over 250 subscribers and I'm immensely grateful to every single one of you for supporting and helping the channel grow. Drop a like if you enjoyed and let me know what you thought in the comments. See you guys next time.